Welcome back to the Jake Asman Show on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage. Need a mortgage that fits your life? Rocket can.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Jake Asman.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. You can get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day. We were talking about Paul George in the last segment, and I asked the question, does he get unfairly criticized compared to other stars? He said he does after he dropped 41 points in a road elimination game. I said most of the criticism is fair, but look, when you do what you do last night, you can say whatever you want and use that for motivation. And Jason in Jerusalem agrees. He goes on Twitch, is he unfairly criticized? No, but all the power to Paul George if he wants to make that claim and use it for motivation. I think that's fair. Look, we're about to talk about Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. Nobody used motivation better than Michael Jordan. I mean, Jordan would create false narratives about him to motivate himself. So if Paul George wants to use criticism to motivate him, all the power to him. I agree with that comment. Let's get to now Scottie Pippen. This was stunning. So Scottie Pippen is promoting his new memoir and he's promoting his new bourbon. So he's doing a press tour. He's making the rounds on some of the big national shows, right? And Scottie Pippen was on the Dan Patrick Show yesterday. And Dan Patrick asked Scottie Pippen about the incident during the 1994 playoffs where he refused to go into the game against the Knicks because he was not getting the last shot of the game. Instead, the shot went to Tony Kukoc. Phil Jackson drew up that shot because Kukoc is the better shooter. And listen to Scottie Pippen here claim that he didn't get the final shot because of race.
If you knew that Scottie Pippen had been with the Bulls from 87, battled through the Pistons and every other team that we had to get to those 3 championships, wouldn't you give Scottie Pippen one opportunity to get a last-second shot without Michael Jordan? Like 1 year without Michael Jordan. Can I get one shot? Like, I'm doing all the dirty work.
But all of that I understand from the basketball standpoint. But when you say a racial move.
Well, why would Tony, who was a rookie, get the last second shot and you put me out of bounds? That's what I mean, racial. Like, that was Scottie Pippen's team.
But
Scottie
Phil
Pippen
then
was on pace to be an MVP that year, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, why would you put him in a position not to be successful? Why wouldn't you put him in a position to succeed? Michael Jordan is not there. So who's next in line for you?
Where do we start with that comment? I mean, maybe we start with can you not refer to yourself in third person, Scottie Pippen? I mean, my God, that is cringeworthy. But as far as what he's saying there, you could criticize Phil Jackson if you want, Scottie, for not giving you the ball as the best player. But to call him a racist without any evidence is just wrong. It's slanderous. If I'm Phil Jackson, I would sue Scottie Pippen for that. You can't just accuse someone of being a racist without any evidence. And there's a couple things happening here, right? One, the play worked. So, I mean, what are we talking about here? We're talking about this 27 years later. The play worked. Phil Jackson was right to do what he did. Two, to claim that Kukoc as a rookie is getting the shot because Phil favors him over you is asinine. You could be upset with the decision, but to say that it was motivated, for racial reasons, as he said in that GQ interview, and then Dan followed up and asked him about it on his show. I mean, that's just insane. So, staying with this interview, Pippen was then asked by Dan Patrick if he believes Phil Jackson was a racist.
Have you talked to Phil about this? Because by saying a racial move, then you're calling Phil a racist.
I don't got a problem with that.
Do you think Phil was or is?
Oh, yeah. I mean, do you remember Phil Jackson left the Lakers, wrote a book on Kobe Bryant, and then came back and coached him? I mean, who would do that? You name someone in professional sports that would do that. I think he tried to expose Kobe in a way that he shouldn't have. You're the head coach.
What? What? Just so casually. Do you think Phil Jackson's a racist? Yep. What evidence? He wrote a book about Kobe, and then guess what? He went back and coached Kobe. And guess what? Kobe and Phil Jackson, they were singing Kumbaya when they were winning championships again together. And Phil Jackson and Kobe Bryant, very, very close. Had a great relationship by the end of Kobe's career. What are we doing here? You can't call someone a racist without any evidence. That's what's the legal term? That's slanders. You can't say that. If I'm Phil Jackson, I would sue the you-know-what out of Scottie Pippen. You're calling him a racist because he didn't give you the basketball at the end of a playoff game? A game, and by the way, it worked by Phil Jackson being the Hall of Fame coach he was, drawing up the right play for one of his best shooters? What are we doing here?
So here's the issue that Scottie's going to run into with this, right? Scottie is the one who's going to be looking bad.
Not Phil.
Not Phil. And I don't think Phil needs to do anything. Phil can just sit back on his big pile of money with all his long cigars and oversized suits and Zen mentality and just sit back and just go, okay, whatever. Because Scottie's the one looking back. Phil has been a part of basketball for how many years? Like 50. He's been part of basketball more years than I think he's been alive.
And has anyone ever accused him of being racist?
No one. No, I mean, you're talking championship team and then losing that, retiring from the Bulls and then deciding, you know what, I'm going to pick up with the Lakers and do all that. And then retiring from the Lakers. And where does he go? He goes to the Knicks. Now, we all know he's not a great front office guy, but the guy can coach.
Oh, believe me, I am no Phil Jackson defender. I don't like Phil Jackson because he destroyed the Knicks when he was running them. But I'm talking about him as a human being here. He's not a racist. I'm sorry. If you think he's racist, then you have to give evidence. You cannot say he's racist because he wrote a book about Kobe Bryant, or you cannot say because he drew up a play for Tony Kukoc instead of me.
And it would have came out. That's the other thing too. Like 20 plus years of coaching basketball, high profile basketball, where you're going deep into the postseason because you've taken he won 11 national titles.
How about the fact that he was a player in the NBA? He won a championship on the 73 Knicks. I mean, it's insane. You cannot say the guy's a racist without any evidence. Scottie Pippen, I mean, does he believe this, or is he just trying to sell, his bourbon? Because if he is, he's getting a lot of attention. Now maybe people want to buy his bourbon. I mean, why would you want to support a business venture of his if he's going to go out there and accuse people of being a racist without any evidence?
And that's what I'm saying is backfiring on him. I think it'll backfire on him because, maybe you're saying some outlandish things to draw attention to yourself, but who wants to support it?
I mean, you're destroying your relationship with the fan base in Chicago. You're destroying your relationship with your teammates and obviously Phil Jackson on those 6 Bulls championship teams. It's crazy. I thought this was great, too. So I was doing some research before the show this morning, and I found an interview from 1995 where Phil Jackson is asked about Scottie Pippen. So once again, 1995, here is the racist Phil Jackson on Scottie Pippen.
See, Scottie is such an unselfish player. He's the greatest all-around player in the NBA right now. And
really?
Oh, he's absolutely terrific. People get a chance to watch him every night.
But I mean, compared to Jordan,
Michael's a terrific player. I'm not taking anything away from Michael, but Scottie is a rebounder, as a passer, as a defender, and as the whole complete package, and the great energy that he can have on the court. Does a lot of things out there in the basketball court that is terrific, and he can lead a team very well, and he can get 10, 12 points and 10 assists and 10 rebounds and really be the determining factor. Now, Michael, no one can score like Michael,
right? And
scoring is a wonderful thing to do, but it's not the end-all. It takes a lot of guys, and that combination of Pippen and Jordan's the amazing combination of the both.
Yep, Phil Jackson, real racist there, talking about Scottie Pippen.
I heard so many racial undertones in that.
Oh, my God. I mean, we should cancel Phil Jackson.
Yeah.
How dare he compliment Scottie Pippen like that? And everything Scottie Pippen has said during this press tour has just been an unmitigated disaster. He calls out Kevin Durant, and he's just dead wrong about Durant. And then Durant goes back at him and is like, you're the same guy that, quit on his team when he didn't get the ball for the last shot. You're the same guy that, it didn't want to ruin his summer, so chose to rehab in the middle of the season from an injury. He says LeBron didn't have any stars with him in 2016, forgetting Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love. I mean, my God, Scottie Pippen, it is sad what has happened to his career. Stop putting the guy on TV or on radio. Because if he's going to go out there and say Phil Jackson's a racist without any evidence, we in the media have to do a good job, like Dan Patrick did, and check those opinions from Pippen without evidence.
O'Reilly.
This is Sarah's O'Reilly Auto Parts.